right. Good morning, Flagler County. This is Danielle Anderson, your host of Lifeline, the radio show connecting you to positivity in our community. And we've got Miss Positive in the studio this morning. Good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning, Danielle. How are you?
I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
So tell me who you brought with you today.
I brought Miss Fabulous Kat Hull with me, who is part of Women's Voices this year and also has amazing things going outside of here, but I'll let her share that part.
That is so crazy. So when you called me and you said you were doing this again, and it's expanded from the last time we've seen you.
Yes. I took a year off, and the last time I saw you was 2024 when we were talking about it, and that last show was standing room only. And then this year I brought it back, and I already have this class was sold out right away, and then we had a wait list for the second class, which is already sold out as far as students go. And I'm doing a train the trainer program to train other women to teach a class so we could spread it out and have more women's speaking confidently. And, we're a month out from the show. The show is March 30th, and we have, I think, 20 tickets left.
I remember the first one, you were people weren't kind of sure what to expect and all that, and now it's if you don't get a ticket now, you're not going to get to come.
Right. And even the last show that we had, I had people messaging me and asking, hey, is there any way you can get in? And I said, I wish I could. I would take everybody in, but it's a fire hazard at this point. So I really just can't,
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I am not complaining by any means.
So for people who haven't met you, tell them a little bit about yourself, your background, and kind of how you got started in this.
Sure. So, hi, everybody. I am originally from New York. I live here in Palm Coast. I've been here for 20 years, so I'm basically a Palm Coaster at this point. I am an expert in organizational psychology, working on finishing my master's in that. I have certifications in CBT, NLP, so many different things in psychology. But along with the Tiffany Rufino Agency, I run a group that's my passion project called Women's Voices, where I help women use their voice to share their story that helps others in the community share their story and learn how to get by based on what they've been through and not only be great as they are, but go to greater from where they are.
So what made you decide to start this? I mean, this is a daunting endeavor.
I didn't think it would be daunting when it first came to me. Honestly, it was a group of women, special women that came to me, and it was at different points where they were having challenges with communication in the workplace, in public, in the community, with their own business, with their families. And they heard me speak at different events, and I got to know them and just kind of guided them on different ways to work through those challenges. And it came about that I should have a class. Let's just knock it out in a class and get everybody prepared with different skill sets. So we started the first class, and we were just going to do it as a test program. We went up with flip charts. What do you expect from the class? What do you expect from me? And all this stuff. And Danielle, ideas just come to me. And at the end of those 2 hours, I said, all right, we're going to do this for 10 weeks for 2 hours each week. And then we're putting on a showcase. And so be prepared to be on stage. And they looked at me like, what did I just get into? And I said, what's the point of learning how to speak in public if you're not going to? And if you can get up there and tell your story and not talk about business and not talk about, anything that is relevant or relevant in the world today, and just tell your truth and tell about how you got through something and help somebody in the audience, everything else after that is going to be piece of pie, piece of cake.
So I actually had to do a speaking the other night at a networking event.
How'd it go?
Well, I had no idea what I was going to talk about for 3 or 4 weeks. And then I wrote a speech, went back and refined it. And then when I got there, I just read the speech. Why is it that when we're doing public speaking, our minds blank out?
So one of the things is that you're so focused on saying the right thing perfectly that the speech actually impedes you, because then you forgot what your purpose is there for. And that's why, I remember the look on Kat's face when I said in the first class, nope, you're not going to have a PowerPoint. You're not going to have a podium. You're not going to have speech. You're not allowed to hold paper. You're not allowed to even write it down.
No wonder she's
They started to get the same look on their face that my first class did. Like, what do you mean we're going to do this? And it's almost a protection barrier. And the truth is, your story. Your content like the back of your hand. If I took that away from you, you could speak from your heart, and you could probably look into the audience and you could look at every person in their face and have no problem getting your message across. The speech is a protection thing, a safety net, but honestly, it's what holds you back. And so if you go up there and all I have to do is get the message from my head into the audience's head, you're going to rock it out.
Yeah, but why do people like blink out? You get up there and you're like, of course you know your story, but then you're like, you just completely forget what you want to talk about. Does that happen
Everything
to
just
you?
washes out. Yeah, it's when I first went into this class, it was excuse me, I'm getting over the sickness and the cold. I know all of Home Coast has had it, y'all.
Yeah.
Hi, by the way. Good morning, everybody. Ish noon. So it's like Tiffany was saying, it's the confidence factor. We are our own worst enemy. We are our own worst critics, right? Let me move that a little. So it's more so getting over yourself and moving forward. Becoming the phoenix that's rising out of the ashes from the old you, transforming into who you want to be, and most of all, finding that confidence and courage to be who you know you're meant to be. It's finding your direction. Sometimes we need a vessel, sometimes we need a support, sometimes we need somebody to just hold our hand and do the thing. And that's what Women's Voices has done for me. I've always been, God gave me a mouth, so I'm going to use it. I just needed to refine some things, find my direction and my courage, and it's just taken off. This has been
So
amazing.
tell me about your business. Tell us all about your business. What do you do?
So, by day, do the home thing, the mortgage thing. I work for an amazing company here in Flagler. But also, what I've been able to refine in this, I got to a point in my 30s, I was like, I'm done leading. I am a mom of boys. I am a Marine wife. I've kept it together, but for everybody else. So, going into this new era of my children do not need me, and they make that very clear, and I'm fine with that. But they are teenagers and becoming adults. So it's, my husband has his career. So it's kind of, I've been trying to figure out, what do I want to be when I grow up? What do I want to do? Because I've done the CSR professional. I'm a personal chef by trade, done all the things for everybody else, to serve everybody else. Finding out that I had a direction to stop doing a disservice to myself and really pouring into my own cup with the help and the support, it's been life changing. And I think that women need a voice like that. We need a support. We need to get rid of the bad girl energy, so to speak, and bond together. And that's one of the pinnacle things about Women's Voices. We're bonding over day-to-day, daily things. There is not one thing that has been said in those rooms that we're not afraid to speak in the rooms now that isn't a normal conversation, and we shouldn't be held back from that. But I do believe that how society has grown and progressed in positive ways, and this is a positive teaching, that bringing out the direction in women to find their inner voice, and then teaching them and leading them by our storytelling, by doing the process, by taking the class, that you are the most bravest thing out there because you did what you didn't think you could do.
So you are a personal chef, a Marine wife. I mean, these are all like things that are really like tough mentally. You know what I'm saying? To work in a kitchen, it takes, and to do the whole. So what were you afraid of, or what was holding you back that made you say, I need to take this class?
Me. I come from a very big CSR background where I reached a point a few years ago where, and trigger warning, sorry people, I had a complete breakdown. I mean, I didn't want to do life anymore. I didn't know how to do life because I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel seen. I just at one point felt like my life was dictated by everybody else in my home. And then I let my family be accustomed to that. And then I started letting it just bleed into every other thing. And I was overextended. I was tired. I was super cranky. And I just said, don't want to do it. Took some time to step back and really kind of make everybody see and hear me. I stopped making myself so small, but more learning how to refine it and express and communicate in an appropriate way. And what Women's Voices has brought to that, it's just another step in refining this process.
So how do you feel like it's impacted your future and what you're currently doing right now?
I love interacting with people, and I get to lead just by being myself and doing what I do. That's my goal. I want to make a positive impact by just being me and showing people that you can do this too.
Have you connected with other women in your class?
Absolutely. It's crazy some of the connections where, two of us are from the same area and two of us are military wives and boy moms. But that's the thing. You remember how they say there's 6 degrees of separation between every person and everybody. It doesn't matter if I'm 3,000 miles away from where I grew up and everything that I knew. There's always a connection on some level. You can relate to anybody, no matter who they are, where they come from, what they do, and where they are in life. In the end, we're all just a human, male, female, corporate, CEO, somebody just on the streets, dishwasher, whatever. In the end, it doesn't matter because you peel it all off. We're all human.
So when you hear her talking about this, how does that make you feel? You're sitting here smelling like a proud mom.
I am, like the mama bear of communication, because it's when I hear her speak now versus when she first took the class, and not to speak as though you're not like right next to me, it's, you see a lot of women come in and speak as to what their titles are versus who they are. And that's really what part of this comes back to. And they don't realize it until, maybe the fifth week in. Nobody is allowed to talk about what they think their story might be or really who they are until 5 weeks in. Like, we're doing all different things that are, and I think I've shared this before, it's like the Karate Kid mentality. You're going to wax on, wax off, and you don't know why until we start applying it to your story, because there's a purpose behind all of it. And I'm not going to give away my secrets. And I did not pay Kat to say anything great about the program. I asked them for honest testimonials, but there is a point in time where about 5 weeks in, right before they start sharing, where you see the connections happen, where people are talking outside of the class. Like, we had a call last week and we were talking about this, and my heart just gets happy, because when you think about communication and community, one of the things that we need most, that's human hierarchy of needs, that's happened with storytelling back in the days. That's how we learned from each other. And we have to get back to that in order for us to feel human. And, technology is great. I do not hate on technology, but at the end of the day, we need community.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about how we can start building more community right here in Palm Coast. We'll be right back. Is it good?
Awesome. Yeah.
All right.
You tell us anything different.
No, you're doing fantastic. All right, you guys ready?
I just want to make sure I pull up my sponsor list so I don't forget to.
And make sure your volume's turned on.
Mine?
No.
Oh. I know. I talked away from the mic. I'm sorry about that.
No, I was recording a speaker the other day, and I forgot to double check and make sure. And he had actually pushed mute on his microphone.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
So his entire thing is we got body language, but we have no sound. Oh, my gosh. All right, so we're back with Tiffany and Kat, and we're talking about communication, which is exactly what we're doing here today, is communicating. And, never having met you before, Kat, your energy is, like, super positive. You're excited, but you also have your own personal backstory, too. So when we're talking with women in our community who are moms, and they haven't come to the point where they're saying, I'm ready to jump out and find myself again, what do you say to them?
Come to the show.
Come to the show. Yes, that come to the show is a really good one. So where my business is and where my support system is, it's a little bit different than what you see in your not standard, but like your Tony Robbins or, your Joyce Meyers. They're making a point to lead, and I think that is great. Each person to their own. What I want to do is I want to support. I want to help you find your direction and lead yourself. I don't want to do it for you, but I want to show you how I did it and see if that works. See if that makes an impact, because they say, keep trying, try again. And if that doesn't work and you feel like you ran out of things, go back and try it again. Eventually something is going to work. Eventually you're going to hear something, you're going to see something, you're going to watch somebody do something. Hey, I'm going to try that. It's called inspiration. And it's an inspiration for your life, trying to find the direction you want to go. So that's where her inner north came to be, is that through other women and hearing about their experiences and how they survived, they managed, they pushed through. And here's the thing, I want to bring this to stigma. there has been a stigma of you have to keep going, but it's okay to pause. It's okay to have a moment. And even if it lasts a day, an hour, a week, a month, a year, whatever you have to do to get through that moment, that's okay because you made it through that moment and you're continuing to move forward in your own direction. Own it.
So, say you've got somebody who's, out there and listening and they're saying, I've never had a trauma. I've never had that big thing that a lot of people do experience. Like this guy who spoke the other day, he said, everybody has their plane crash. Like, so you got somebody who says, I've never had that, but I might be like, I want to do something like this. Is this for them too?
Absolutely. And I do have women in the class that say that. And there's two sides to that, right? So a lot of times women have been told to downplay what they've gone through in life to make it seem that it's palatable for the audience, or to not come across as a victim, or to do anything that draws attention to them for that moment of emotion, because we don't want that. We don't want to draw attention. So what might be somebody else's trauma is not necessarily the same as your trauma, right? And the other thing is that it's not always about trauma. It's about what happened in your life when things were going great, then something happened and made you pivot or change completely that you weren't prepared for. But from that moment, you went to greater from it. And in Women's Voices, the goal is to talk about how did you do that? Because, Kat was mentioning the different speakers before, and usually they'll tell you what you have to do, and you have to do this, you have to do that. And if you do that, then you'll get this. But buy my book, and then you'll find out how. Spend your money on this course for the next 18 months, and you'll learn how. And by the time you leave the conference, you feel amazing. But then the next day, are you really into the book? Are you really taking the course? Are you really doing the work and putting it in? You kind of lost the buzz a little bit. But if you find out how in that moment where you're listening to a story, it's going to stick with you. And the storytelling and the visuals, and, every woman in my group picks their story. I don't pick a theme. I don't tell them what they can or cannot talk about. It's just a matter of let's refine it and let's really get to the meat of what you're trying to say and convey to the audience.
And then you really let it be their own.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So have any of them written books after taking your class?
99% of the women that went through my class have been asked to speak at an event that has nothing to do with me being an agent for them.
Wow.
And it's either because people want to hear part 2 of their story, or they want them to come on the radio, or they want them to work as a college professor and get hired, or they want to hear about their business because they were so relatable that people felt that they had to go to them because they understood what they were going through as a human and they could trust them to be their business partner.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So yes, there have been women that have gone on to start writing their books and stories. They haven't had time because they've been doing so much after Women's Voices. And the beautiful part is that the alumni come back and they volunteer to help support the next group. So they will come to the show. They will help take in the tickets, the audience, pass out the swag bags. And so it really is becoming a bigger community than just each class.
And did you envision it would be like this when you started?
Absolutely not. I thought it was going to be the first class, and hey, great job, ladies. I'm so proud of you. I'm glad that you got what you wanted from the class, and I'm going to go on and continue with the Rufino agency and do my thing over there and do consulting with businesses. And now I am doing all of it, and I couldn't be happier.
So now you've got this train the trainer kind
yeah.
of
Oh,
thing
yeah.
going
And then
on.
we just, decided to add more onto the plate.
So how's that working out, and what's the goal, or what's the vision for that?
So Train the Trainer, you don't have to be an alumni, but I do have alumni interested, and they go through the program as a trainer to understand the psychology behind all the, I was going to say experiments, but the
Exercises.
experience, the exercises. It is an experiment. The
We're just the guinea
exercises,
pigs.
The
for the
best
10
one.
weeks, and understanding the theory behind it, the psychology, what my mindset was, so that you could still implement it your way, but there's certain things that you cannot budge from. So I don't want it to be like, it's definitely not an MLM. It's more of a franchise mindset of here, take it, make it your own, but keep the branding, keep the integrity of the course and what the learning is. You're going to have different learnings as you move on. You're going to have a different background from where you teach it from, but you understand that the goal is for this woman to go on stage and to be confident in telling her story that's going to impact at least one person in the audience. And most of the time it's way more than one person.
I've heard some of those stories, and you're just like,
Well, yeah, because they could pick
Wow.
any point in your life. Any point in your life you can pick. And I think that speaks to so much when somebody says, I'm going to talk about the worst part of my life, which is no judgment, right? Like it could be the worst part in their life and it's not compared to what I went through, what Kat went through or anybody else. But for them to say that and to go up and actually speak to it and feel so confident 5, 6, 7 weeks after they were first speaking to a flip chart, that's huge. That's a huge turnaround and a huge
it's so brave.
confidence. Yeah, it's
It's
very
like-
brave.
It's like you take your power back.
Absolutely. And narrate, the narration of your own story. Sorry.
No,
didn't
no,
mean to
no,
interrupt.
you're fine. My husband told me when I was like debating about who I wanted as my plus one, how I wanted to do, and I agonized over this for a few weeks because you think that's my husband. That's my safe place. I am a husband's girl. I am 100% a husband's girl. But then he said something to me and I was like, I don't know if I want you there. And he's like, well, you're brave. I don't know why you're so nervous. You're so good at this. And then I was like, what did you say? And he's like, you're so much braver than I am. And that stuck. I'm like, it did. Because I don't know how many people I know would be able to get up and talk about the most impactful core memories for myself. They may not that person or that person, but like Tiffany said, that it's to plant a seed, it's to impact to even just one thing. And that right there, that's brave enough. Brave enough to say, I have a story to tell. Here I am to tell it. Take it for what it is. And maybe you can do it. Maybe you can be brave enough to talk to one person, 3 people, 5 people, and maybe 500.
So, by the flip side, this is for women's voices. But you just said your husband said you're brave. And I'm thinking, is somebody doing this for guys?
There is an opportunity for men's voices. I have had a couple of men reach out to me and say, are you going to do this for, in general, or, maybe a combined co-ed class or specific to a men's voices class? Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
But
yet.
You're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're working on it. But the more trainers that I have, the more that we can spread out through Florida and then work on the Zoom class and build from there. We're growing.
That's amazing.
Jump on board soon because we're growing.
And you better get your tickets because there's only 20 left.
Yes.
So we got to give a quick shout out to the sponsors, and then we're going to tell you how you can get those tickets.
Yes, I'm going to do this as quick as I can, almost like the Academy Awards. So Dr. Stella at Be Balanced, thank you so much. April Newman from Salty Mermaid Photography, Rachel Rogers of Family Ties Wellness, Jen DeKell of Seasonal Navigation Organization, say that 4 times, Gina Elmazi of Social Media Advertising Corp, but also of the Oopsie Project, Jody Shaw Boyle of the Bookkeeping Partner, Teresa Rand from the Boss Lady Ladder Network. Without her support, I wouldn't have the women in the class or, just the ability to do this. Lunar Studio with Samantha Tribble and Stephen Holvik, Cinematique, Jed and Alexa, who have hosted us and been absolutely amazing. All the alumni and students that have supported, and of course you for always being an advocate and a voice. We greatly appreciate you for everything that you do and always being willing. So thank you.
Well, I definitely want to give a shout out to WNZF.
Yes,
They
and
always
Mark.
have us. And Mark, and then the Vigilante Philanthropists. I mean, they help sponsor the show and make it possible for all of us. So, we do want to thank those guys because they rock. Massage by Natalie, she's out there amazing. And then Benjamin Moore Paint Store here locally. So, I mean, it really takes a community to do all these incredible things. And so it's never one person. I just get to be the scheduler and talk on the radio.
Oh no, you do way
These
more
people
than that.
help make it happen. So
Yeah.
it's thanks to you guys and look at all the family and the lives that you're impacting by sponsoring the show. So
About how you're impacting. You're the
Well-
vessel to connect everybody.
do you know Sleep Token? You ever heard of Sleep Token?
No.
It's this band. It's called Vessel. Anyway, so Mark, cut that out.
No. Keep
But,
that in there.
how can people get tickets to your show, and how much are they?
So tickets are $50. I do want to say that any proceeds that we have, we support a nonprofit. And we decide as a group. So a percentage of sales do go back to a nonprofit in the
that's
community.
awesome.
So this year this group rather, we're supporting Family Renew in Volusia County. They've been around since 1989. Jennifer Robertson is one of the directors of development over there. They provide 40 housing units for 6 to 12 months for families that are unhoused and looking for jobs. And so it's not that they just get to hang out there. They are working on skill sets and things like that into getting a job that sustains them and their families. So everything helps. We need sponsorships. This helps us get through and put this on. But again, a percentage of proceeds does go to a nonprofit, and they'll be speaking at the event. They could get tickets, TiffanyRufino.com, 1F for Rufino. So Tiffany, Rufino, not like the wine with 2 Fs.
All right. And we do want to give a shout out to Lindsay Elliott over there. She's amazing at the
Family Renew.
Yeah. So I think they're going to be bringing something here to Flagler before too long.
Oh, that would be amazing. I haven't spoken to Jennifer about it yet, but I'll find
I
out.
think I heard that was rumored. Let me
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So you guys have a great week. We'll see you soon, and we'll see you over at the Women's Voices show.
March 30th.
March 30th.
Yes, come see